Welcome back, everyone. It's Eric from Rare Candy here. Today we are back testing out some more Darkness Ablaze decks, and today we're going to be taking a look at kind of some old classics. This was actually completely unintentional, but we have the Mad Party deck versus the Vikavolt V deck from Darkness Ablaze here. And like I said, it's kind of like Night March versus Seismitoad EX, so kind of like a semi-retro matchup we have here. And actually in this video too, we have Luke Morsa from Celio's Network. He was actually nice enough to help me put this video together for you guys. So if you guys haven't checked out his content on his channel, definitely do so. He's been putting a lot of attention into the pre-rotation format as well, which is something we haven't really been doing a lot of. So if that's a format you're still concentrating on, definitely go check out what Luke has been putting out. Pretty good stuff over there. But here specifically in this matchup, I'm going to be playing Mad Party on the left, and then on the right, Luke's going to be playing my Vikavolt V list. So these are both the same decks that were already featured on the channel a little bit earlier this week. Of course, I will have links down below in the description if you guys do want to get a better look at the exact list that we're playing with here. It looks like right away I'm going to be going for a Great Ball, grabbing myself a Galarian Mr. Rime with that. So if you guys aren't too familiar with the Mad Party deck, it's, like I said, kind of similar to the old Night March deck, kind of similar to Lost March in a way too, but basically you do 20 damage times the amount of Pokemon with the Mad Party attack in your discard pile. And so, we play a bunch of ways at discarding those Pokemon, and that's what we are trying to do here. And here I'm going to go for another Great Ball. And I'm actually fortunate enough to start with a pretty good amount of Pokemon here. Or I'm sorry, amount of items here. Just because, Luke no doubt is going to be wanting to lock my item cards as soon as possible. So getting down my basics and getting Pokemon discarded as quick as possible before the item lock comes into effect is definitely good. So here I managed to start with 3 Great Balls, definitely a little bit fortunate on my end. And I still have a Quick Ball from there as well. So I'm going to go for another Galarian Mr. Rime. So I'm probably just going to Dedenne this hand away if I had to guess. So I'm going to go for a Quick Ball. Let's see what I'm going to grab. Could grab another Sinistea, or could grab a Pokemon to toss away with this Dedenne in my hand. But it looks like I'm going for the Sinistea, prioritizing getting Polteageist set up. Polteageist in particular is really good in this matchup because, as weird as it is, it can't be one-shotted by Vikavolt, whereas the Bunnelby attacker in the deck can. So, and it looks like I'm going to go for a Dede change, getting rid of a Marnie and a Galarian Mr. Rime. And I was able to get myself a Quick Ball, so getting rid of another Galarian Mr. Rime here. So let's see what I'm going to grab. Could get myself a Bunnelby, could get another Sinistea even. Could even go for Crobat V if I want to keep digging this turn. It really just depends on how aggressive I want to get. So there is definitely some risk of going for Crobat. One of the big downsides I kind of discovered while playing these games with Luke is that we don't really run any non-item based forms of switching effects. So I definitely need to be careful about benching multiple 2-prize Pokemon, because if they get gusted up into the active spot, it's going to be very difficult for me to actually move them and get an attack off in the same turn. But here I'm going to go for the Crobat V, opting to just dig through my deck a little bit quicker and try to put pressure onto Luke as soon as possible here. So you're just going to draw a couple more cards with Crobat, it appears. Or it looks like, oh yeah, I remember this. I opted to save it because next turn I can evolve into my Polteageist and draw some more cards with Crobat. So just from there, going to pass over to Luke. So let's see what he's going to be able to make happen this turn. So he is fortunate enough to start with the Tapu Koko V. That's definitely the best starter in the deck, actually. So here he's having to Dede change away a lot of kind of important resources, unfortunately. He's trying to set up that turn 1 item lock, but right now his hand is looking a little bit bleak in that respect. So he's going to Quick Ball. Looks like getting rid of, I think probably the Crushing Hammer is his best option here. So yeah, that seems good. Crushing Hammer is not going to be too important in this matchup in particular. So he can grab himself a Vikavolt V here, and he has that Speed Lightning Energy in hand. That way he can keep drawing cards. And he's not yet played a supporter either, so if he does draw into, a Marnie or a Professor's Research, he will be able to, play one of those and keep, digging through his deck. So he really needs to get some lightning energy in the discard pile. That's kind of his next priority. Unfortunately here though, he does not have any way of doing that, because if he got lightning energy in the discard pile, he could potentially activate Tapu Koko Prism Star or Turbo Patch to get his Vikavolt powered up right away. So here he could play Boss's Orders, but I don't know if he wants to just yet. But yeah, this is actually a really big turn for my deck. Getting more than one turn of items is probably going to be enough to allow me to get set up. But here I'm evolving into Polteageist. Polteageist has a really cool ability. It allows me to discard a Pokemon with Mad Party from my hand and draw 2 cards. And here I opted to save that Twin Energy. You saw me almost attach it, but thought process is, you know what, I'm still going to be drawing some cards. No need to attach just yet, because if I draw triple acceleration energy, that would be preferable to having in play instead of this Twin Energy. And it looks like I drew myself a Roxy, which is really, really cool. That's kind of one of the gimmicks in my current list here that I'm, probably most proud of. For this particular Mad Party list, I'm playing the Wheezing sort of box of Pokemon to discard with Roxy as well. So Roxy, of course, you discard up to 2 different non-Pokemon GX or EX from your hand. Draw 3 for each one. But if you discard Wheezing, for each Wheezing you discard, you spread 1 damage counter to your opponent's Pokemon. So I'm getting 2 damage counters on all of Luke's Pokemon. This is really good because the Mad Party deck, it's like just shy of taking those big one-hit knockouts sometimes, and the Wheezing Roxy sort of combo really lets you, have a little bit more flexibility with your damage. So, and as you guys can see from my hand, I did draw a triple acceleration energy if I see correctly there. So good thing I held off on attaching that Twin Energy that was originally in my hand. So I'm going to get myself a Galarian Mr. Rhyme with that Pokemon Communication. So probably just preemptively, maybe for next turn. But here I'm going to get a Bunnelby, put that back in my deck with Communication, and get a Dedenne. So I'm probably just trying to preemptively grab Pokemon I want to discard with either Roxy or the ability on Polteageist here. For the next turn, like if I get item locked, I want to be able to have this Pokemon already in my hand ready to go. So here I'm just going to get down the triple acceleration energy and just swing on this Tapu Koko V. I believe I have 6 Pokemon in the discard with Mad Party, so hitting for 120 currently. But of course, as the game goes on, that number is going to just keep growing and growing. Because the Polteageist I have in play also have the Mad Party attacks every time they get knocked out. That is going to also increase my damage output. So here Luke is going to get down a speed energy on his Vikavolt, and he will be able to finally start attacking. But I'm sure he would have preferred it be, a turn sooner if he had had the option. So he's going to play Cynthia and Caitlin. Getting back, looks like maybe a Boss's Orders, but looks like he's gonna go for the Team Yellgrunt. I think I rather would have seen the Boss's Orders. I don't think Yellgrunt's gonna be especially good in this matchup since all of my Pokemon just attack for a single attachment. But either way, Vikavolt V can finally start attacking. Like I said, guys, at the beginning of this video, it's kind of like the old Seismitoad EX. It has a pretty good item locking attack for 2 energy total. For a lightning and color does 50, and your opponent can't play items. So a little bit stronger than the old Seismitoad of the past. But unfortunately, it still can't one-shot my pitiful 60 HP Polteageist here. So that's definitely going my way. So let's see, can I get enough Pokemon in the discard to take a one-hit knockout? So I'm going to get rid of a Dedenne, again with that ability on Polteageist. I can discard a Mr. Rhymes. That's going to put me up to, I believe, 8 Pokemon in the discard, so hitting for 160 right now. I still do need a few other Pokemon in the discard. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there without the help of some items, so we might be forced to two-shot this Vikavolt V here, which is kind of an annoyance. Oh, but I could actually go for the KO on the Tapu Koko. That seems pretty good. That way we can still get a knockout this turn. And then hopefully by my next turn, I can have enough Pokemon in the discard to actually knock out this Vikavolt V. So I'm going to jump ahead in the prize exchange, going down to 4 prizes. Just have to knock out 2 more Pokemon V or GX to win the game. Whereas, Luke, he's going to be, in a little bit of a tighter spot. He has to knock out a bunch of these 1 prizers. But of course, I do have that Dedenne GX in play. So he will have a 2 prizer he can eventually knock out if he chooses to as well. Here you can see he's going to start to power up another Vikavolt V just in case his other one does go down. I think the big thing he really wants to find this turn is going to be potentially a Cape of Toughness. He really wants to increase his HP. That way I can't one-shot him with these Polteageist. So we'll have to see what he can get here. He does find himself a Tapu Koko Prism Star. And here it looks like he's searching his deck. That's his discard, sorry. But yeah, from there, we'll probably just see him bring up Vikavolt, take a knockout, and finally take a prize here. So, Luke's lock is, up and running at this point. He just needs to prevent me from taking these one-hit knockouts on these Vikavolts. But here I draw a Roxy, which is really nice. So I'm going to discard, looks like a Weezing and a Sinistea to draw 6 cards. Unfortunately, I didn't have a second Weezing there, but nevertheless, it is going to grab me 6 cards and get a damage counter on each of those Pokemon on Luke's bench. I'm going to draw, just a ton of cards here between the Roxys and the abilities on my Polteageist. As you see, my hand is absolutely massive here as well. And yeah, I think we're a little bit shy of taking a one-shot here. Actually, no, we might actually have enough. It looks like... yeah, we might have enough. Because Vikavolt V has 210 HP. And... or total HP is 210. And he has 30 on it already. And I believe we have 10 or 11 Pokemon in the discard. Yeah, so we are definitely one-shotting any of these Vikavolts that are going to come up at this point. So yeah, Luke's definitely in a bad spot. He definitely needs some hand disruption going at this point. So here he is going to get down a Speed Lightning Energy, and he does find a Cape of Toughness. That's really good. Now, one thing we do have to be mindful of is, and Luke here, you can see he's asking me how many cards are left in my deck, and that's because he does have the Belva and Bryson Man card in the deck. Of course, it's more for the Eternatus VMAX sort of matchup, but here I kind of forgot it. I had it in the list that Luke was playing, and my deck is pretty low, so if he does choose to go for a mill strategy, that would be really annoying. But unfortunately, he can't actually pull that off this turn and deck me out. But here it looks like he's going to go for a Boss Order. Is going to bring up this Dedenne. That's really good because I can't actually retreat this thing and attack in the same turn. So here, I believe what Luke is going to try to do is keep this Dedenne stranded and then mill me and deck me out behind the Dedenne. So even though I'm in a dominant position, the Belva Bryceman actually creates another win condition that neither of us, I think, realized at first. But unfortunately for Luke, I do have a Marnie still left, so unfortunately that is going to take his deck out strategy away from him. But very smart of Luke, kind of playing to his outs there, realizing, you know what, there's a chance I might not win by just traditional methods here, so we need to get a little bit creative. I do draw into a Crobat V as well, but here I'm going to discard. Looks like a Polteageist, draw some more cards, a couple of items, not too impactful. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to pass over to Luke. So Luke's definitely going to be feeling a little bit better. My hand did shrink as a result. Even though he's not going to be able to deck me, it still forced me into putting all of those cards back into my deck. Here we are going to see a Marnie from Luke. That is going to, of course, put me down at a 4-card hand, which I really didn't mind too much. I didn't have energy, I don't believe. And here we'll probably just see another 50 damage come down on this Dedenne GX. Here Luke is going to get down another Vikavolt V with a Cape of Toughness. Of course, guys, if you aren't familiar with Cape of Toughness, it's a new Pokemon tool card. When it's attached to a basic non-GX Pokemon increases their HP by 50. So these Vikavolts all have 260 maximum HP, which is really nice. So just pass back over to Luke. I think his game plan here is to, because I think we saw he had Reset Stamp in hand if I'm not mistaken, but I think what he wants to do here is he wants to save the Reset Stamp. He wants to ideally take a knockout on Vikavolt and stamp me in the same turn. So here he's going to hang on to the stamp. Definitely a good idea on his part. I'm at 150 HP, or I'm sorry, 150 damage on this Dedenne. So that means next turn I will go down. And even though I have energy in hand, I'm very careful not to actually put it down, just because, you know, Luke hasn't played any of his energy disruption cards up until this point. So I don't really want to put them down preemptively because he could actually remove them from my field. So this is definitely a big turn for Luke here. He's going to go for, it looks like a switch. Just switching into the Vikavolt that, of course, isn't damaged. And going to go for this Reset Stamp. It's going to put me down at a 2-card hand now. And it's going to make it a little bit harder for me to respond after Vikavolt is going to take this knockout. So if this Reset Stamp sticks, Luke actually has a shot at climbing back in this matchup. But unfortunately for him, we do see I drew into an energy there. But, you know, he did all the right things there, I would have to say. And yeah, so all I have to do is attach the double colorless, I'm sorry, not double colorless, twin energy, getting them a little bit mixed up. And now, oh yeah, we're going to be a little bit short of a knockout. I think literally by, what, 2 damage counters, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a bit of a pain. But the one nice thing here is that he has to 2-shot my Polteageist, which, again, is kind of insane when you think about it. But yeah, that is going to give me another turn to, you know, if Luke does retreat into something else, that's going to give me another turn to find potentially an energy or a supporter or something like that. So let's see what route he is going to go here. He's going to go for a switch. Definitely makes sense. He wants to, you know, be attacking with the tankier of his Vikavolts that he has. And what a good top deck I draw into Crobat here. It's going to allow me to refill my hand size. Again, I have all of this energy in hand, but it's like, do I really want to put it down because Luke can just remove it from my field? So I imagine from there, we're just going to hit this Vikavolt for 240, which feels really bad. It's only 10 HP away from being knocked out. I did not draw into any other Mad Party Pokemon. So yet again, we're having to go for this sort of 2-shot strategy. So let's see what Luke can do. I mean, I think he's in kind of a bad spot with me grabbing that Crobat on my previous turn. That allowed me to refill my hand size. And as you guys can see, I have energy ready to go to knock out basically whatever he promotes at this point after this Polteageist goes down. So yeah, this is going to be the game. I can just promote another Polteageist, attach that twin energy, and take a knockout on this Vikavolt. And the Mad Party deck is pretty convincingly going to take this first game that me and Luke are going to be playing. Now, to be fair to Luke, he did miss the turn 1 item lock. I definitely think the game would have been a little bit closer if I didn't have access to all my item cards, of course. But of course, that's why we are playing the best 2 out of 3 series, guys. We'll have to see if the Vikavolt deck can bring it back in this next game. And one thing that is a little bit tricky, I think, in this matchup in particular is, like, do you decide to go first or second if you're the Vikavolt player? Because, like, Mad Party really can't do much on its first turn going second, like, in terms of damage. So there's not really a threat by going first. But at the same time, if you go first, it allows them to play a supporter card and potentially use more items. So if you go second, while it's a bit riskier if you get the turn 1 item lock, it's definitely the better move, but it's just, you know, how lucky are you feeling? I think this matchup in particular, it's kind of tricky to decide, you know, which you rather do. So we'll have to see which Luke is going to decide on here. Here it looks like I'm going to draw for a mulligan. And looks like Luke is going to opt to go first here. So he really wants to guarantee that item lock. We saw, you know, In the last game, he missed it, so he's like, you know what? We're going to play it safe. Just go first. Guarantee the item lock. But here, as you guys can see, I have plenty of Pokemon in my hand. Or I'm sorry, plenty of items in my hand. Can definitely burn all of these. I really do like that. So I'm going to put Weezing back in deck with Communication, it looks like. And looks like I might go for... Looks like I'm eyeing down a Galarian Mr. Rime, potentially, maybe as a Quick Ball target. That seems kind of good. I could maybe see that. So, oh, but here looks like I'm going to go for a Sinistea. So, I think I actually would have rather seen the Galarian Mr. Rime because I could have Quick Balled it away. But this kind of works out still either way. So here it looks like I'm going for a Sinistea at this point, but my hand is kind of dead if I saw correctly. I think I actually need to go for something like Crobat. Oh, and here you can see I kind of changed my tune. I'm like, maybe do I want the Sinistea? Maybe I do need to grab something different. And one thing to point out too, unfortunately, I did start with a Dedenne this game. This is typically one of those Pokemon you just kind of want in the discard pile. You know, it has the Mad Party attacks, like all of our other attackers, but it attacks for 3 energy, which makes it a bit worse. So, yeah, it's definitely a Pokemon I just kind of want Luke to ideally knock out. But here I'm going to Quick Ball Dedenne away. Going for a Crobat V. And just going to refill my hand to 6. Alright, so from there, I think I might just hang on to that hand. I could bench the other Sinistea. Oh, I think I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it was this game. I actually prized 2 or 3 Polteageist, so that's probably why I'm not benching the other Sinistea here. So definitely a bit of a lackluster sort of turn 1 I had going second. I didn't even get to play a supporter, which is very unfortunate. So I kind of missed my window I needed to really play a lot of my item cards. So we'll have to see if that comes back to bite me. Here you can see I have that Great Ball in hand, and I probably won't be able to play it after this Marnie. Yeah, Luke does find the Lightning Energy, so he is going to be able to start item locking me. Now the good thing is, his attack does pretty low amount of damage, so this Dedenne isn't actually even going to be knocked out. It's going to give me hopefully another turn to find what I need to get going. And here I'm going to get down, looks like a Sinistea. But again, guys, I do remember, I'm pretty sure this is the game I do wind up prizing some things in. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to evolve that right away. But here I'm going to go for the Professor's Research, refill my hand size a little bit. And I do have a Roxy in hand for next turn, which is nice. I can start discarding some of my Mad Party Pokemon. And so let's see what Luke is going to do. No doubt he's going to want to get, I think, another Vikavolt with an energy. Just to start powering up another attacker in case this active one does go down. But, you know, my position's definitely significantly less threatening than it was in the first game. Without my item cards, having kind of a slow start, his Vikavolts are probably safe for a few turns if I had to guess. And here he is going to research his hand away. Looks like a Reset Stamp hit the discard and a Turbo Patch. So definitely 2 cards I really don't mind him getting rid of here. There we see a Chaotic Swell he's going to get down. That's really good because we both play Swell in these lists. So if he gets his down first, that means mine is a dead card and it's just going to kind of take up space in my deck. So we're going to see a Quick Ball getting rid of that Belba Bryson Man. Looks like he's eyeing himself down a Tapu Koko V, maybe just as a free retreater. But it looks like he's going to opt for the Tapu Koko Prism Star. That's fine as well, I suppose. Not sure how much energy he has in discard pile, but I don't think it's going to hurt just to get it down on the bench. I think there actually might be a world where Luke attacks with Koko, as weird as that sounds, because right now, all I have to do is knock out 3 2-prize Pokemon and I win. But Koko actually allows Luke to maybe force a 7-prize game. So depending if he's able to stream manual attachments and doesn't need much energy acceleration, he could even opt to power up a Tapu Koko for at some point. But here I'm going to Roxy away some Pokemon. And here you can see my deck is starting to get set up. I found myself Polteageist, discarding plenty of stuff here. As you can see, my hand is massive at this point. And I do have a Twin Energy in hand, so I can start attacking if I do want to. So I believe I'm going to be hitting for 120 if I see correctly. Yeah, so that's good. Getting in some chip damage on this Vikavolt. Now, unfortunately, this game I am in a little bit of a worse situation because I'm forced to attack with Bumblebee. Bumblebee only has 40 HP, which means that this Vikavolt V can pretty easily take one-shots on it, so I'm not trading quite as well as I would like to in this matchup, or in this particular game here, but luckily next turn I have a Polteageist I can use. It's going to be safe for a couple turns. Here we're going to see a Crushing Hammer, and it is going to be a Tails. So Crushing Hammer, of course, flip a coin of heads, discard energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So I think maybe his mindset was, well, if I can discard this energy, maybe I'll use Boss's Orders to bring up Crobat and start to trap that in the active and maybe get an easy 2 prizes. I think that might have been maybe Luke's mindset. Here's going to get rid of a Great Catcher with his Quick Ball. So I'm not sure what he's going to be going for. It looks like he's going for an Eldegoss V. We'll have to see what supporter he is going to be attempting to get back from his discard pile with this. And it looks like he's going to go for a Marnie, so definitely a good call. My hand was pretty huge after those Roxys, after using Polteageist's ability. And the cards he actually married me into aren't horrible. I got an energy, which is the big thing, really. That way I can keep attacking. Here Luke's going to get down a Speed Lightning. It's going to allow him to draw some extra cards in the process. And does he have a way at attacking with a fresh Vikavolt? That's kind of the next thing. I'm not sure if he has that luxury. But you're just going to take the knockout, so he's just going to concede that he's going to give up 2 prizes more than likely. So here I'm going to discard another Bumblebee. And unfortunately my hand is really not too great beyond this Polteageist. Oh, but here looks like I am second guessing something, it appears. Oh, and I'm not sure what we were discussing there. Huh. Yeah, hard for me to follow what was happening on my turn there without hearing the audio from our games there. But either way, it looks like I discard the Bumblebee. Oh, and I think maybe I was checking which cards I drew off of the ability. Not sure. Either way, taking a knockout with Polteageist and getting back in this game, drawing some prizes, which is good because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I had some Polteageist prize this game. So hopefully I can dig some of those out. And there we see a Crushing Hammer Tails. And we see a Quick Ball discarding a Lightning Energy. Going for Tapu Koko V. That seems good. Just in case Luke ever gets a switch, he can always just switch into Tapu Koko, have that perpetual free retreat. And of course, if he does decide to, Tapu Koko can be maybe a cleanup attacker to finish off a Crobat V or a Dedenne GX, maybe for his last 2 prizes. And here he is going to burn Tapu Koko Prism Star, getting some extra energy in play on his Tapu Koko V and his Vikavolt V. Looks like an Air Balloon coming down Crobat V just to give it free retreat, and then after that, just 50 damage to this Polteageist. And unfortunately, I still don't have another follow-up attacker after this turn, so I'm in kind of an awkward spot, to be honest here. Because I can't one-shot this... Oh, but I do have a Marnie, so I can draw some cards at the very least. That's definitely good. I think I have one other Polteageist still in deck. Oof, and that is rough. I have a bunch of Weezings, Quick Ball, Great Catcher. Now, if I top deck a Roxy, this hand becomes substantially better. But as is right now, my hand is completely dead after this Polteageist goes down. I was really counting on being able to draw into some sort of mad party Pokemon to either attack with on the next turn or discard to draw some more cards. Here it looks like Luke has a switch, going to switch into this Tapu Koko V here. And He is going to start powering up his next Vikavolt, and luckily he hit me with another Marnie. My hand was god awful, so very grateful for that Marnie there. And we're going to see a Turbo Patch, and he does flip head, so Turbo Patch, of course, a new card. From the new Darkness Ablaze set, you flip a coin of heads. You attach a basic energy from discard to one of your non-Pokemon GX basic Pokemon. So definitely one of the ways he can help get these Vikavolt powered up a little bit quicker to keep streaming that item lock attack throughout the game. But here he is going to finally knock out this Polteageist. Here I'm debating, do I just feed him a Crobat? But I feel like I really can't do that. Like, if I can see that this Crobat gets knocked out, then I just lose, because he's going to go down to one prize after that. And I don't think I'm going to be able to actually win if that happens. Oh, but that's actually a really good top deck. I have 2 Mad Party Pokemon I can discard here, so getting rid of the Mr. Rhyme and the Dedenne. Drawing into Polteageist as well, so yeah, drawing really well here off of this Roxy. And drawing some more cards, discarding that Galarian, Mr. Rhyme. So yeah, stabilizing pretty well after that horrible previous turn. So, you know, that Toughness Cape, or Cape of Toughness, whatever it's called, is really putting in a lot of work here. So right now I'm hitting for 240 if I'm not mistaken. So without that Cape of Toughness, I would be taking a knockout. You can see that extra 50 HP is really coming in handy in this matchup here. So I do need to discard that triple acceleration energy that is on my Polteageist. That is the one thing I definitely need to take care of at some point here. But let's see what Luke is going to do in response. So he is going to go for a Crushing Hammer. He does flip heads, but it doesn't matter because my triple acceleration I was supposed to get discarded anyways. So he's going to hang on to that Crushing Hammer, since he actually technically would be unable to play it. But here he's going to go for the boss's orders on this Crobat. That's actually really big here, because it's really difficult for my deck to actually retreat these 2 prize Pokemon, because I have to actually attach 2 twin energies basically to get these things out of play. And my deck plays very few energies as it is, and it's really awkward because I have to like preemptively get down energy one turn and then hope that it doesn't get discarded and attach another energy the next turn to retreat. So here it looks like Luke might be contemplating going in with Tapu Koko and just taking 2 prize cards. So yeah, he is going to break the lock, and he's basically saying, hey, you need Roxy with 2 Weezings if you want to win. Because right now I actually do have a win condition. Even though he's down at 1 prize, I'm at 4. If I get Roxy with 2 Weezings, I can spread 2 to everything, knocking out the Vikavolt on the bench while knocking out the active. So this, we actually could make this happen. So I do have Great Ball here. Probably just trying to thin out of my deck. And unfortunately, I do whiff with the Great Ball. If I have the Dedenne GX in hand, that's really good because I can dump my hand and hopefully find myself Weezing and 2 Roxys. Or I'm sorry, Roxy, 2 Weezings. Got that backwards. I believe I have 3 Weezings in the deck still. So we could make this happen. So I'm going to discard my hand with Dead Age Change, drawing 6 cards. And unfortunately, I think... No, I actually do have a way to keep digging here. So I have Ordinary Rod. I can get back Crobat. And I think if I have Weezing and discard, I get back another Weezing. No, I probably don't do that because I already have a way to get the second Weezing. So I don't want to actually thicken up my deck anymore. So here I'm just essentially failing these Pokemon communications. So maybe I should have actually saved one of those Pokemon communications or Ordinary Rotted back in a Weezing if I had one in discard. Maybe I didn't have one in discard pile after all, if that's the case. because that seems like something I should have done. And here you can see if I didn't fail one of those Pokemon communications in an attempt to play down my hand, I actually would have had game, guys. So I think that might have been a slight misplay on my part, but I found a Roxy and one Weezing, being 10 damage short of taking this game. So we're going to play it out, but basically I'm going to knock out this Tapu Koko V, and then this Vikavolt on the bench is going to have 10 damage remaining to be knocked out, and it's just going to knock me out with its secondary attack. It does 190 and you discard some energy. So yeah, if I would have saved one of the Pokemon communications instead of failing it to play down my hand size lower, I could have put that Mr. Mime I drew into back into my deck for the second Weezing. So maybe I got a little bit too excited there trying to play down my hand. Not sure, but yeah, hindsight definitely going to be 2020. But still a super close game. Kind of cool the Mad Party deck almost brought it back there. And we're going to go on to a game 3. So as you can see, I think this matchup actually winds up being kind of interesting. Just because of certain interactions like the Cape of Toughness. Really makes things interesting. The Weezing sort of changes the math of a lot of my attacks. So I think this winds up being a pretty interesting sort of even matchup overall. So here it looks like I am going to start with a Bunnelby. And I'll have to see what route I do decide to go down my first turn. I imagine I'm probably going to play myself like a Dedenne or a Crobat if I am going first, just because I do need to find a bunch of Pokemon. So here I am going to go first. And before doing anything else, looks like I'm going to go for a Great Ball. Alright, so I do find Crobat V there. I could go for that. Looks like I'm eyeing down a Bunnelby potentially. So yeah, I do think I go for the... Looks like I'm going for the Dedenne. So maybe I'm thinking about, instead of Crobat, I'm going to go for a Dedenne GX and just discard my whole hand. That must be kind of what I'm thinking about here if I just had to guess. Because I really want to make sure I can see a bunch of cards before I start getting item locked, because Luke does have the things to get that turn 1 item lock up and running. We haven't seen it yet up until this point because game 1 he missed it, game 2 he went first. But in this game he does have the chance to pull that off, so I really need to make sure I can play down a good bit of items and try to get my board set up. But here I'm going to get down that U-turn board. That was a card we hadn't seen too much of until this point. But of course, it's going to give my Pokemon one less retreat cost. I'm going to find myself a Sinistee. That's definitely really good. And so here I'm just debating. Do I leave Bunnelby in the active? Because if I do, then that opens me up to just getting knocked out and getting an easy prize taken on me. So here what I'm doing is, this can be a potentially greedy play if he has a Crushing Hammer. But basically what I'm going to do is retreat into Dedenne, putting the Twin Energy on it as basically my way of retreating next turn whenever I want to retreat and attack. But this way I don't give up a prize. But here Luke right away goes for that Crushing Hammer and did not see what the outcome was. Okay, he's going to reflip. It keeps going off screen, but it looks like it was ahead. So that's definitely a bit of a bummer here. Definitely coming back to bite me a little bit, it appears. And here it looks like he's just going to research this hand away. Had a lot of stuff he could have played, but again, he wants to save those energies for his Vikavolt V. And I saw Crobat in hand. I see Quick Ball switch. So yeah, he has plenty of stuff he wants to see here. So going to see the Quick Ball, getting rid of a Lightning Energy. Probably going to see a Vikavolt V here. He has Turbo Patch. If he hits heads on that, that's also really big because he has the Speed Lightning. He has the switch. If he hits heads on the Turbo Patch, that will enable the turn 1 item lock. So he's going to get down the Cape of Toughness. There's the Turbo Patch. And he does flip tails. Bit of a bummer for him. But here he is going to play Crobat, drawing some more cards. He does have the Speed Lightning Energy. And he draws the Tapu Koko Prism Star. So his last card he was able to draw he is going to burn. It's going to get 2 energies in play, so yeah, really crucial second card off that speed lightning energy. If he didn't hit that, you know, my next turn would have probably been a bit better. But here we go. We have the turn 1 item lock ready to go. So a really impressive start by Luke in this game. As you can see, my board really didn't get very developed. I didn't find many item cards, so I'm definitely going to kind of be on the back foot in this game. However, I do find a Polteageist. I'm going to discard another Polteageist to draw some cards. But yeah, not a whole lot to really work with based on my hand. I do have a research, but I really just cannot discard these special energies that I have. So I'm just going to have to pass it back over to Luke. But the good news is Vikavolt is not a strong attacker. Like, it doesn't hit for a lot of damage, which means I have several turns before I have to worry about any of my Pokemon going down. So here I'm going to discard some more Pokemon with this ability on Polteageist. And then we have a Roxy. It looks like I'm going to discard just a Weezing to draw 3. Now, I do have a Sinistea, so definitely want to get that thing down. And then from there, probably just a pass. So I'm kind of conceding that this Dedenne is going to get knocked out. I really have to be careful not to bench Crobat for the rest of the game, because you guys can see how strong gusting effects are under item lock in this format, especially in this particular deck that I'm playing against Luke here. Here it looks like he is powering up the Dedenne, maybe going for an eventual Tingly Return GX. That could be an option for him. But here I'm going to discard that Galarian Mr. Rime. Here you can see my hand size is starting to expand a little bit. But here I'm probably just going to pass back over to Luke. I do have some twin energies, but I really just do not want to put them down preemptively, because again, if he plays Crushing Hammer, then that's going to be bad news for me. You know, we saw how bad it was preemptively attaching that twin energy at the beginning of the game there. So all my energies in this deck are precious. Really need to just save them as much as possible. So it looks like just a pass back over to Luke at this point. So another Cape coming down on his next Vikavolt. And this is actually, if he plays the Marnie, that's a really good turn. Yeah, he's going to go for the Marnie. Good call on his part. My hand was a good size. I had 3 energies in there, which feels really bad. We'll have to see if I can find myself an energy to actually be able to attack with next turn. But going for the Marnie, plus the 2 prize KO feels really good if you're in Luke's spot here. So he's going to get down an Air Balloon just to give that Crobat V free retreat if needed. And here he's going to take a knockout on the Dedenne GX. So here I am going to discard Galarian Mr. Rime, drawing 2 cards. But man, beyond that, not a whole lot to work with. So I might even... I think I might even could bench the Dedenne. That seems like an option. And just force him to attack into that. I think that's sort of the play to go with at this point, because I need a couple turns to kind of set up my field. But here I'm going to go for the Polteageist. This is a little bit greedier, but nevertheless, Polteageist is probably going to be safe for a turn unless Luke decides to break his item lock, which he probably isn't. So I can afford to take a hit this way, and then hopefully next turn I can find my energy to at least start putting on some pressure back on this Vikavolt here. So it looks like he's going to go for a Cynthia and Caitlyn. We'll have to see what support he does end up getting back. Looks like he's eyeing himself down a Marnie. So he looks a little bit conflicted. Or maybe he's thinking about playing a Marnie, or is that what he got back out of his discard pile? So, okay, yeah, it looks like that is what he's going to get back out of his discard pile. Getting down a Tapu Koko V with a Speed Lightning Energy. And here, Luke's board looks really good. All he really needs at this point is just to find the supporters that he wants. Like, hit his disruption supporters when he needs them, hit his boss's orders when he needs them. And here, okay, luckily I'm having a pretty good turn here. found myself another Polteageist, found energy. I have a Roxy with 2 Weezings in hand, if I'm not mistaken. So here I think I'm just checking how many Mad Party Pokemon I have in my discard pile. Just trying to see if it's worth it to discard more Pokemon with Roxy or if I should just go for the Weezings instead. But I think discarding Weezing is definitely the right thing. So going to discard that. Does 2 to all of his Pokemon and I draw 6 cards in the process. So going to get down a Twin Energy on this Polteageist here. And then from there, just going to soften up this Vikavolt V. I really do want to start taking some prizes, though. I remember specifically my last game I prized, it was 2 or 3 Polteageist. In this game, I did the same, but for Sinistea. So as you guys can see, it's, you know, I don't have quite as many of these Polteageist set up and running in this game. But here's going to go for a Crushing Hammer. I mean, at this point, if you're Luke, I think you just kind of sit on this hand or go for the Marnie, because I'm pretty sure he got a Marnie last turn. So if he can go Marnie KO, that feels really good because I have a huge hand. And he wants to really limit the odds of me finding energy. I think that's the big thing. So you're just going to Quick Ball, getting rid of a Lightning Energy, getting a Vikavolt V out of deck. More than likely, I would imagine he's probably just doing this to be able to use Turbo Patch. And maybe also if he's playing Marnie, he just wants to thin something out of his deck too. Okay, so there's the Turbo Patch, and it looks like it is ahead. So yeah, you can see the Vikavolt V deck is pretty much firing off on all cylinders this game. Luke is really not missing a beat at all here. So he's going to play a Switch as well. Probably just going to switch into something with Free Retreat for the moment. And then after he plays his supporter, he can decide what route he wants to go after that. And there is the Marnie. So yeah, my hand size was pretty big at that point. But I actually didn't have any energy, so I kind of don't mind the Marnie in a way. But yeah, at this point, really just not sure what Luke could even want. I think just supporters. He has a Reset Stamp in hand as well. That's also super good for whenever I do eventually take a KO. So we're just going to see a retreat into this Vikavolt V here and take a knockout. So I do have triple acceleration energy, so I can definitely attack with Polteageist this turn. That's definitely good. Wait, did I not notice I had triple acceleration in hand? That's like, did I think that was like a different, I think that was like a U-turn board or something? Or was that triple acceleration energy? I know sometimes the secret rares kind of blend together, but yeah, if that was triple acceleration energy in my hand, I definitely would have gotten that down. I mean, luckily either way it didn't wind up mattering, but I think that was triple acceleration in my hand. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this footage after the fact, but if that was, that's definitely my bad there for sure. But anyways, gonna get some more damage in on this Vikavolt V. As you guys can see, really struggling to cobble together a knockout underneath this item lock in this game, guys. Really was not able to get all of my Polteageist and all of my attackers up and running quickly in this particular game. So I have to say, at this point, I think Luke is in a really good spot to close out this series. You saw in Game 1, the Mad Party deck was really the one putting on a lot of pressure. Game 2 was really, really even. And then this one, right now, the Vikavolt deck is definitely in the better spot. But here it looks like he actually decided to break the item lock, get a little bit more aggressive. But I honestly don't even know if it matters at this point, because if I take a knockout on this thing, I'm going to go down to 4 prizes. Luke's going to, on his next turn, go down to 1 prize. I'm going to go down to 2 prizes, and then Luke is just going to knock out my final attacker and win. So I actually don't know if I have a way at winning this particular game here. Like, even with Roxy and Weezing, it doesn't really set up any sort of meaningful math for me. Because Vikavolt has 210 HP, which means I'm 3 damage counter short of knocking out this active. which means I can't really cheat that second KO. See, I think the writing is pretty much on the wall at this point. I really don't know another option that my deck has. Like, I don't have anything like Belba Bryson Man like Luke has in the Vikavolt deck, so I don't really have any alternate win conditions that I can see. Like, the only other Pokemon I can attack with in this particular list is the Mr. Mime from Team Up, but it really doesn't do much for me here. So nevertheless, like I said, guys, we're going to play it out. I'm going to take a knockout, but here I remembered I can play my items. So I was like, you know what, before I take this knockout, let me at least play down my items before I start getting locked again. You know, you get so used to not being able to play your items against Vikavolt that once you're able to, you kind of forget you're even allowed to sometimes. So here I'm just taking a peek at what's in my deck. Looks like I have that Mr. Mime. I have another Weezing. I mean, there's really nothing I even want to grab at this point. I'm pretty much out of attackers. But here I'm going to get down another U-turn board at least and knock out this Vikavolt. So let's see what route Luke is going to go. I imagine we're just going to see him continue to item lock me because all he has to do is to attack with Vikavolt for 2 turns and he just wins. So we're going to see a Dedenne GX. We'll have to see what he's going to attempt to grab. You know, I think the only other sort of alternate win condition I have is maybe decking him out. So here we are going to see a Tool Scrapper getting rid of those U-turn boards, but of course they do go back to my hand after they get discarded from play, but they effectively get discarded since I can't play them back down after this turn. So here we are going to see the Vikavolt V get promoted here. And I'm not sure if I have access to boss's orders, but again, that's the only way I could potentially win is if Luke benches something that has a retreat cost and has no more energy or switching cards, but I'm pretty sure Luke still has some switching cards. This Vikavolt plays Force Switch, Air Balloon, and a Mallow and Lana, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get what he needs. And, well, he actually doesn't have energy yet. That's one thing that is worth pointing out here. So he does need an energy on his next turn to be able to close out this game. But here he's going to go for a Marnie, okay? So I imagine that probably will allow him to draw into what he needs to kind of secure the game. There's a Turbo Patch. And that is a Tails. That's actually pretty big because, again, he doesn't have an energy right now to attack with on his next turn. So that's my opening. That's definitely my opening here. So, all right, so I do have Quick Ball. I have Marnie, it looks like, or I have Research in hand. So just going to research my hand away. Gonna get down the Mr. Mime, I guess, just in case. I think actually getting it down might be a mistake. But here, as long as Luke has an energy, he wins. Oh, he already had one on the Vikavolt, my bad. I didn't see it there. So since Luke does have the energy, he is going to take the series with the Vikavolt V deck. Really cool series. All of the games were pretty close. I really like a lot of the interactions between both these decks. And of course, guys, if you do want to see the actual list that we were using in this match, I will have links down below in the description to the deck profiles for both of these decks. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Of course, if you did enjoy this content, like, subscribe, and if you can, also consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron at patreon.com/rarecandytcg or by picking up some merch from rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.